I think folks see people in suits in Washington, D.C., kind of have a certain image or stereotype. But I think they need to realize there's so much more to these stories and journeys, and every one of us have our own personal challenges in life. Some of which are well known, some of which are very hidden. And that's part of the beauty of the diversity of life.
Go ahead and roll it, Alex. So, well, you have that one moment, right, that changes you. What was that?
I think for us, it was the day that we received the test results, the diagnosis for our daughter, Megan. You know, they say there are those times in life that are defining, those inflection points that change you. For us, that was that moment. When I graduated business school, we had 2.5-year-old John, and we had 6-month-old Megan. And we realized by about a year of age that Megan wasn't doing the things that a young child should do. She wasn't taking her first steps. She wasn't pulling up in the crib. And so we go from pediatrician to neurologist. And he described that what they saw in Megan's muscles was the buildup of a sticky substance called glycogen, just a stored form of sugar, and that it was destroying her muscles, and that Megan couldn't break it down because she lacked an enzyme because of a genetic defect. We'd never heard of this disease, Pompe disease, and I remember asking the doctor, is it serious? And he said, yes, it's very serious. What he told us was that she'd get very sick very quickly, and that eventually her heart would give out and she would live to be maybe a couple of years old. And then he looked down in the car carrier where our son Patrick was, who was 7 days old. And he said there's a 1 in 4 chance he has the disease as well. He needs to be tested immediately. We went through a lot of emotions. We went through the anger, the fear, the grief, the denial. But very, very quickly, we settled on determination. Being determined to learn everything we could about this disease, to find anybody who had any answer or any idea for how you may treat this disease. We didn't want to have any regrets. We didn't want to look back years later and wished we had done something else or something more.
So you set out to start your own biotechnology research company to try to find a cure?
I didn't set out to start a company, but realized ultimately that's what I needed to do.
They made a movie about this.
I hear they even made a movie about it, yes.
What values do you think your dad has installed in you from a young age?
Well, first, my good looks. What's that? Yeah, the man. Oh, not the fish, Sebastian? Oh, the Disney character. Yeah, no, this is different. This is the comedian. You enjoyed walking on the red carpet. John pushed Patrick in his wheelchair. They were both scared out of their minds, but they did it. They got to the end and both went, oh. Megan turned around and said, well, we got a few minutes. Should we go back through again? Tuesday speakers, we're trying to hone in on a few there, but maybe Michelle just update us. Because, again, we talked about we want a real patient focus. Yeah. I came into Bio as a board member, as a young CEO in biotechnology a number of years ago to join a community, but also because I needed help. I needed help on strategy, on thinking, on relationships. And in Bio, we continue to provide resources, ideas, connections, be that center of interest for biotechnology. The purpose of the Biotechnology Innovation Organization, or BIO, is to be the world's leading organization to communicate the importance and essential need for biomedical research and biotechnologies in medicine, and to provide a foundation so that biotechnology can continue to grow. We really are on the dawn of a golden age of medicine, where we have so many tools and technologies available now. It's an incredibly exciting period. And that's why it's such a privilege to be the CEO here. It's a five-day trip, the whole thing.
Between 5 and 6 meetings per day, including an incredibly good John is a very principled, hardworking, and God-fearing man. And I think it's his faith to make sure that he leaves something for the next generation to make sure they have hope.
How do you like being an aunt? Bringing that perspective of if you were a parent of a child with a disease, you make sure that what you're developing is safe and effective. But you also think about the urgency, the sense of time, that we need to move very, very fast. We need to think about new ways, new tools, new technologies to accelerate biomedical research and to bring these newer and better medicines to people in need. We're so privileged to work in this industry of biotechnology, to make medicines that extend and enhance life, and to give all of us as innovators in the field, scientists, researchers, entrepreneurs, a chance to go back to the drawing board and to think about how can we do it even better. Banana makes you strong? Well, you work hard and I'm very proud of you. And I love you.